we are discussing the impact of Arvind Kejriwal's health and education ministers resigning. Will the Delhi governance crisis, of course the replacements have now been pressed into service, but how is this going to hamper the Aam Aadmi Party's 2024 plans? Will it hamper, or has the Aam Aadmi Party already factored this in as they look towards 2024? So let's discuss that first. You see, health and education are both showcase ministries of the Kejriwal government. It is this ministry which, and the performance of these ministries, the work that they had done in these departments, which Kejriwal took all over the country. He's been winning elections, and a bulk of his speeches concentrate on this. Arvind Kejriwal explored national ambitions at the back of these experienced hands in Delhi. There was a Manish Sisodia, there was a Satyendra Jain, and he was confident that they will handle these portfolios and departments while he will go looking for or exploring greater political ambitions. Missing stalwarts in Delhi, could it perhaps mean that Kejriwal will have to spend more time in managing Delhi? You see, he has given that replacement, Kailash Gehlot and other ministers. There's no cabinet expansion, but existing ministers have been given the portfolios being held by Manish Sisodia as well as Satyendra Jain. But will that mean greater time investment by Arvind Kejriwal in Delhi? And once his affair is limited to Delhi, could this be advantage BJP in 2024? Let's quickly cut across live to the Aam Aadmi Party's press conference.
षड्यंत्रों के कारण आज जेल के अंदर हैं। उन्होंने अपने अपने मंत्री पद से इस्तीफा दिया है और ये पूरे हिंदुस्तान के लिए बहुत दुर्भाग्य की बात है कि वो दो मंत्री जो अपने काम के लिए जाने जाते थे और सिर्फ दिल्ली में नहीं, पूरे हिंदुस्तान में नहीं, पूरी दुनिया में अपने काम के लिए जाने जाने वाले मंत्री श्री सत्येंद्र जैन, श्री मनीष सिसोदिया जी, इन दोनों के पीछे पड़ के केंद्र सरकार ने इन्हें झूठे, फर्जी, नकली मुकदमों में फंसाया है। और ये संदेश पूरी दुनिया में जा रहा है आज कि सबसे ज्यादा काम करने वाले मंत्रियों के पीछे देश की केंद्र सरकार पड़ी हुई है। ये कोई अच्छे संकेत नहीं है। ये के झूठे हैं, फर्जी हैं। हमारे दोनों मंत्री पूरी ईमानदारी से अपना पूरा जीवन जो है समर्पण कर रहे हैं इस समाज के लिए, दिल्ली के लिए, अपने देश के लिए। और आज उनका इस्तीफा मुख्यमंत्री जी को मिला है। उन दोनों ने अपना अपना इस्तीफा मुख्यमंत्री जी को दिया है, क्योंकि दिल्ली में छोटी कैबिनेट है। मुख्यमंत्री जी और उनके साथ 6 मंत्री मंत्री परिषद में होते हैं और सत्येंद्र जैन जी और मनीष सिसोदिया जी के पास सब लोग जानते हैं, ज्यादातर जो अहम मंत्रालय थे, पोर्टफोलियोज थे, डिपार्टमेंट्स थे, वो इन दो हमारे सीनियर मिनिस्टर्स के पास थे। तो इनकी एब्सेंस में दिल्ली वालों का काम जो है वो प्रभावित ना हो, दिल्ली का काम ना रुके, दिल्ली वालों को कोई परेशानी ना हो, इसलिए इन्होंने इस्तीफे दिए हैं। इनकी जगह 2 नए मंत्री जल्द बनाए जाएंगे। मगर पूरी की पूरी आम आदमी पार्टी और पूरी की पूरी दिल्ली सरकार, आम आदमी पार्टी का हर विधायक, हर पार्षद, एक एक कार्यकर्ता, मनीष सिसोदिया जी।
So Saurabh Bharadwaj, the MLA of Aam Aadmi Party and also a spokesperson, says a very interesting thing. He says that, and precisely the point that we were making just a short while ago, that this could be an attempt to focus on those two big departments being held by these two senior ministers, which were the big showcase of Arvind Kejriwal to the rest of the country. And the attempt, according to the Aam Aadmi Party, is to hamper and limit Arvind Kejriwal to Delhi so that he does not damage the BJP at the central level. Is there truth to what the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be suggesting right now? I have with me Avni Bansal, spokesperson of the Congress, Dr. Tina Sharma, leader of the BJP, Jasmine Shah, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and we also have Madhavan Narayan, senior journalist. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll first begin with you, Jasmine Shah. Are you trying to suggest that this has been done so that Arvind Kejriwal stays restricted to Delhi, that he does his crisis management and control in Delhi and does not explore national ambitions ahead of 2024?
Saket, I think every child of India knows that the kind of abuse of investigative agencies that BJP has been doing in the last 9 years, we have not seen this in the history of India, not even in the UPA years. As far as restricting the growth of Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, that has been BJP's agenda for the last 10 years. Let me remind you, viewers, that so far 170 plus cases have been filed by Delhi police, by various investigative agencies in the last 10 years on Aam Aadmi Party leaders, including many of our MLAs in Delhi. Not a single of them has stood up to the scrutiny of court. Not a single conviction has been held. Many of them are going on for years. Many of them have been discharged and dismissed by the court. Now the radar is, the question here is that they are trying to attack people who are right up there in the senior leadership of our people like Mr. Satyendra Jain, people like Mr. Manish Sisodia, who are of absolutely unimpeachable integrity. And here the problem, the thing is, the goal is twofold. One is to obviously stop the expansion of AAP, but also to cause real hurt and pain as far as the governance of Delhi is concerned. Delhi model of governance is the calling card of AAP. New York Times writes about Delhi's education model. Lancet Journal and United Nations Secretary Generals come to visit our Mohalla clinic. It doesn't happen anywhere else. That is our trump card. We do not fight on communal lines. We do not fight on dynastic lines. We fight on our work. And that is precisely the reason that the entire of Enforcement Directorate and CBI today has been unleashed only and only upon Aam Aadmi Party leaders. And it's clear that the target is Arvind Kejriwal, the target
Dr.
is
Sharma,
AAP, and AAP is the future
I think
of
the
Indian
allegation
politics.
is very clear that these arrests are political in nature, and it is designed to limit or contain the influence of the Aam Aadmi Party, which your party perceives as a threat at a national level. How would you respond?
So I strongly believe that, Aam Party people doesn't have faith in autonomous bodies and, the self-explanatory things which has come in front, and we've seen in the social media that, Sisodia hasn't given single answer to the CBI. That's there. Secondly, he has changed probably 27 phones, handsets, and the SIM numbers in last 2 months or whatever time. So those are the things which has made CBI arrest Sisodia. And Jasmine Shah, I have a strong object when you say children of India asking or questioning. Do not relate things to India's children. We understand that you're claiming that you've made schools, you've done good work in the hospitals, that we understand, but do not do such things sitting on the, it's like blackmailing or putting children in front when you have your minister arrested and he has no answer for CBI questioning. And that we all need to understand. We all need to understand how L1 contract has been given without laying down any guidelines. Why that has happened? Why there's no single meeting?
We're not going to comment on the merits of this case, because obviously this is a subject matter of investigation and now in the domain of the courts.
Absolutely.
But its political impact of these arrests and now subsequently these resignations. Avni Bansal, you see, a common question that was being asked ahead of 2024 was this appeal that was made by Congress senior leadership last week, that forget third front, let's all come together to defeat the BJP. But yesterday, when the Aam Aadmi Party was protesting, the Congress was not, the central leadership of the Congress was not only silent, in fact, the state leadership of the Congress party supported the BJP in welcoming this arrest.
Yeah, so Sanket, let me actually first factually, put something out there, which is a correction.
Yeah.
Congress has not been silent. In fact, let's give credit where it is due. Congress on the 3rd of June was the one who brought this liquor scam to light by actually writing to the Delhi commissioner. So this entire credit actually goes to the Congress party. That's a factual correction. BJP is now obviously, relying on the ED as they always do. But this entire scam that we think is a liquor scam of the Aam Aadmi Party has been brought to attention by the Congress party, number one. Number two, on your larger question, Congress has been consistent about one thing, that after Sheila Dikshit's government and all the charges that were, put on the Congress, what the Aam Aadmi Party has essentially done is not great work on education and health as two important portfolio, but a lot of propaganda, a lot of advertising. I just want to allow me to put a simple math in front of everybody on this issue, which I think is getting lost in the larger debate. Please appreciate that in the year 21-22, Aam Aadmi Party had a drastic increase in revenue by 27%, which amounts to about 8,900 crores. Now the question is, where is this money coming from? In the year that we were all battling with the COVID crises, Aam Aadmi Party spent, guess what? About 81 crores on advertising alone, as compared to what Sheila Dikshit had the budget allotted for advertising was 11 crores. So where is Aam Aadmi Party making all its money for? For all their claim on corruption, being a clean party, transparent party, where is this money coming from? Now let me introduce the reason why. In 2020, 21 and 22, what the Aam Aadmi Party did was they revised the excise policy, they revised the prices on foreign liquor, and they bypassed the import fee that is levied on liquor. And what that meant was this huge scam in liquor, where they thought all the money that we want for all our political national ambitions is just going to come from one place and one place alone. And guess where? It is liquor. But I also have a question to the BJP spokesperson, lest they think that, Congress is siding with them, as you sort of, suggested in your comment. This could not have been done. This revision of excise policy, Sanket, could not have been done without an MCD approval. So why isn't BJP and the ED taking action on the 3 previous MCD guys? Why isn't an action being taken on the previous LG? Why isn't an action being taken on the DDA vice chairperson? So the question is, the problem with the BJP is they are for vendetta politics. They don't want to raise any questions on their own officers, who are very much hand in glove in this large liquor scam. And as far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, it is clear where all this propaganda advertising money is coming from.
Madhavan Narayanan, I want to come to you. Impact on 2024, is this an attempt to contain Arvind Kejriwal and restrict him to Delhi, not let him grow? At a time when the Congress party alleges that this is actually a B team of the BJP, frankly, one has lost track on who's B team, who's C team, who's D team. I have no idea.
I think
everybody alleges everyone else is someone's A team, B team.
Yeah, Sanket, let me just take a slightly lighter look at this. When I go to a mall, I see there's this bouncing game where you have kids playing and throwing balls at each other. In this case, there seems to be so much of mudslinging that it sounds quite childish to me to see all parties, left, right, and center, particularly Congress. So let's take a deeper look at what it means for 2024, apart from mudslinging. That's why you and I exist, so that, we can look beyond the mudslinging. I completely agree with you that there is an attempt to contain Kejriwal, to tie him down. It's like in cricketing terms, keep him at the non-striker's end so that he doesn't step out of Delhi and go national. But Aam Aadmi Party's national strategy has been very limited. It's been based on ground level action and not on they're not projecting Kejriwal as the prime minister or anything. He knows his limits and his potential, but they are attacking his potential. And I just saw Saurabh Bhardwaj make a very throw what I would call a googly in politics by saying the 2 ministers arrested have been sort of detained is the correct word. Detained have been doing good work, and so it's like I can quite imagine Aam Aadmi Party going to the electorate in Delhi and saying, look, good work for you is being stopped on the tracks by this. Now, let me draw a nuanced point here. The mudslinging has reached a point where people have started joking about CBI and ED and all. This has become a national phenomenon. Every party, TMC, BRS, every party is being targeted. It has been overdone to a point. Two things to be noted. One is overdone to a point where, to use James Bond's analogy, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, three times is enemy action. So there has been perceived politically, and therefore the law of diminishing returns has set in as far as CBI's use is concerned. And if it is autonomous, it is not being perceived as autonomous. It was not perceived as autonomous even during the 2G scam days when it was called a caged parrot by the Supreme Court. The Lokpal on which the Aam Aadmi Party came to power doesn't exist, and therefore do not confuse a perceived autonomy with real independence of a constitutional investigator like the Lokpal, who doesn't exist as of now. Therefore, the ED and CBI. So the situation is quite complicated. And it's all political because 2024 is so much on the radar. It's all about who gets away with what kind of mud. Yes, let me say let me finish by saying one small point, which is nuanced actually, which is that the upper middle class has sort of bought into the BJP's narrative. So some of that halo that Arvind Kejriwal has been lost, but a certain huge section of Delhi in the lower sections of the society have
still
become
feels
quite
that Arvind Kejriwal is being victimized. Because the BJP looks at him as a potential threat. Okay, I get your point. Some breaking news coming in at this moment. We have some breaking news. In the liquor policy, Delhi liquor policy case, the Rouse Avenue Court, special CBI court, has granted bail to 5 people in this Liquorgate case, only today. So, Arvind Gunasekar now joins us with all the latest. Arvind, can you tell us who these 5 are? And what happened in the arguments before the bail was granted?
Sanket, Central Bureau of Investigation has filed a first charge sheet in this particular case against 7 accused, including Samir Mahindra, who is the managing director of this company, Indospirits, which is under investigation in this case because Indospirits is the company that was the company that secured the wholesale license in the Delhi liquor policy. That's in the center of the investigation in this entire case. So Samir Mahindra, along with Kuldeep Singh is an excise department official. Narendra Singh is again another excise department official. Arun Ramachandra Pillai, who according to the agency who is part of the South group. Also Muta Gautam, again one of the accused in this particular case, named by CBI in the charge sheet, because Muta Gautam who is still the managing director of India News Ahead, and also Samir Mahindra. All these 5 people, they had filed for a regular bail because CBI has charge sheeted all these 5 people. Sanket, all these 5 people were never arrested by CBI because a charge sheet has been filed against all these 5 people, and it's a statutory provision. They have to secure bail because the trial proceedings will start because the court has taken cognizance of the charge sheet. Because a charge sheet has been filed against an accused, the accused has to appear before the court and has to secure a regular bail so that he or she can appear before the court every time for the trial proceedings in order to cooperate with the trial proceeding. That's just a provision. So as per the provision, all these 5 people applied for bail and the court has granted regular bail to them. These 5 people were never arrested by CBI. See, out of all these 7 people who have been charge sheeted, only 2 people were arrested. One, Vijay Nair, the Aam Aadmi Party functionary, along with Abhishek Boinapalli, who again played an important role from the South group. Only those 2 people were arrested. Even those 2 people who are arrested by CBI, even both of them, they got bail on December 15th itself. So out of 7 people charge sheeted, 2 were arrested. Those 2 people got bail on December 15th, and of those 5 people who are never arrested, even those 5 people who are granted have been given regular bail by CBI court.
It's a technicality now that the charge sheet has been filed, and that is why this is a regular provision for bail which has been extended to these 7 accused, 2 earlier who were arrested and 5 of them who were not arrested, but that has been extended in this case as well. But Arvind, how does this impact? See, all of this is related to the very same liquor policy case. How does this impact the investigation that is going on in the case of Manish Sisodia as well as others?
Sanket, this, like you mentioned, it's a connected case. There is only one FIR and CBI is planning to file several charge sheets. Because if you could see, why did the CBI file the first charge sheet only against all these 7 people? Because of those 7 people, like I mentioned, 2 people were arrested. The moment someone is arrested, there is a statutory limit. Within 60 days of arresting someone, the agency has to file a charge sheet under Prevention of Corruption Act. If you don't file the charge sheet, the accused will get bail under the statutory limit. And that's why the CBI filed the first charge sheet only against 7 accused, including those 2 were arrested. And that's where Aam Aadmi Party claimed that they have not named Manish Sisodia as an accused. That means CBI has given a clean sheet. But even at that particular point of time, we made it very clear the role of Manish Sisodia is still under investigation. CBI can file further charge sheet under 174, 173 of CRPC. And that's why CBI, after filing the first charge sheet, conducted further investigation into the role of Manish Sisodia. Now Manish Sisodia has been arrested and CBI has to file a charge sheet against Manish Sisodia within 60 days. That's a statutory limit because he has been arrested a day before yesterday. So keeping this aside, because again, Sanket, getting a bail from CBI case is kind of much simpler when you compare it with ED case, because ED provision is very strong. Under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the burden is on the accused to prove his innocence. But whereas in the Prevention of Corruption Act, the burden is on the agency to prove whether the accused is guilty or not. Only if the agency can prove it to the court that there is a prima facie evidence or material against the accused, and if the accused is let out on bail, he may try to tamper with the evidence or he may try to influence the case. Only on that particular ground, the court may reject or deny bail. That's on CBI case. But whereas on the Enforcement Directorate case, that's the money laundering case, the burden is on the accused to prove his innocence even for securing bail. And that's why if you could see, look at Satyendra Jain case. Satyendra Jain was arrested sometime in July last year. He was arrested under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act by the Enforcement Directorate. He is still inside jail. He couldn't get bail. Look at the accused in Maharashtra case. Look at the accused in Nawab Malik. The accused Nawab Malik, Maharashtra Minister Anil Deshmukh. In fact, it took almost 1 year for them to secure bail in money laundering case. And that's why even in this particular case, both Vijay Nair and Abhishek Boinapalli, though they have secured bail in the CBI case, they are still in prison, they are still in jail because they couldn't get bail in the ED case. And that's what even in the Manish Sisodia case, though after 5 days of CBI custody, if CBI even goes for 2 or 3 more days of CBI custody, what Manish Sisodia will be fearing now is that the Enforcement Directorate. The moment CBI custody is over, Enforcement Directorate will step in, they will take him into custody.
Is that a valid fear looming for Manish Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party? Now, we do know that the Enforcement Directorate can mount its case off an existing case by the CBI or the Income Tax Department. In this case, the matter is in the purview of the CBI, but ED can come knocking.
ED has already initiated an investigation into this FIR, and that's where we saw 2 other senior people like Vijay Nair and Abhishek Boinapalli along with Sharat Chandra Reddy. All these people have been arrested. So ED is already investigating this case.
No, in the context of Manish Sisodia.
Manish Sisodia is in the same FIR. The moment CBI custody of Manish Sisodia is over, the next day or the day after that, ED will step in, ED will file an application before the court saying that they need the custody of Manish Sisodia. The moment CBI custody is over,
do we know whether the ED is going to make this move or not?
Sanket, that's a given fact. That's certain. Because because ED investigation is secondary to CBI. The moment CBI custody of Manish Sisodia is over, just a matter of time. It's 1 day or 2 days or 1 week or so. That's it. But ED taking Manish Sisodia is given that ED will move an application in the court and ED will take Manish Sisodia into custody. That's a given fact, Sanket.
That's a very, very significant point that is being made by Arvind, that as soon as the CBI custody gets over, do expect the Enforcement Directorate to also come knocking, because they are already a party as far as this case is concerned, and it is far more difficult to be able to come out of the clutches of the ED, just like the case of Satyendra Jain. So what does this mean? Politically, could this mean that an argument will be mounted by the Aam Aadmi Party that the process itself is being converted into a punishment? We are stopping for a short break.